There has never been a player like Troy Polamalu. It kind of gets on my nerves when every long-haired safety in the NFL today seems to draw comparisons to the Tasmanian Devil. It's baloney. Troy is one of one. All due respect to the Grim Reaper that was Ed Reed. Full acknowledgement to Dawkins and Lott. This is the greatest safety of all time.
Drops it, and Polamalu makes the interception. That is an amazing.
He was a man that was truly feared, or as Jerry Thornton would say.
No, Ed Reed would have made the tackle. I'm saying that Polamalu would have shaved years off your life.
Oh my God.
What made Troy so good, though? What attribute did he rely on? Safeties like Ed Reed use elite physical tools and mind games to win on the field. Troy's style of play was centered around instinct. It's weird to say the best safety of all time was a player that relied on vibes, but it's just objectively true.
Coach LeBeau would be like puzzled. Man, Troy, what were you thinking about showing up at the line when you got the deep third? And he was like, Coach, well, I saw this. And he goes, well, next time just tell me.
That's when we knew God was talking to him.
Yeah.
That's when we started calling him Baby G's. Like, God must have told him this was going to happen on this play because he ain't telling nobody. Just like spiritually and instinctive.
I've heard people joke about Troy's game, saying he'd see a butterfly at a spot on the field and that's how he'd know where to go, but if there was anyone in NFL history you'd totally expect that from, I think the flying Hawaiian would fit the bill pretty well.
He'd probably jump over the lineman, pick me up, and run me into the other fucking end zone if he wanted to.
Guy was just one with the football. Okay, so otherworldly instincts. What else does Troy have? Inhuman timing. J.J. Watt's number 2 on this list, but in my opinion, Troy Polamalu is the best snap count jumper of all time. There are players on every defense that you have to key in on. There are plenty of guys you have to follow where they go on the field. Troy Polamalu was a guy you literally had to account for at all times. Deciding to throw in a direction without full awareness of where the Samoan headhunter was a recipe for disaster.
I saw the angel of death waiting for me in the C gap.
A lot of times Troy wouldn't even know what Troy was going to do. Adapt and react. That was the name of his game.
He was a deep safety. And let me tell you, he was in the backfield more than he was back in his own backfield on the defensive side of the ball.
Seriously, what other player talks like this, where his coaches basically go, yeah, man, just do whatever you want out there. You'll figure it out. Thing is, he wasn't even necessarily trying to be that way. It's just who he was on the football field. At times, Cowher and Tomlin would literally ask him in practice and whatnot to tone it down a bit, and I guess that just wasn't going to happen.
Troy, he's just jump stuff all the time. He's not even doing the things he's supposed to be doing. I'm going, welcome to my world. What? This saying, welcome to my, I hear you. I can't control him either.
That has to be so frustrating as a young quarterback. You can read a defense, know how to adjust your offense accordingly. You can do everything right, but because Troy knew it was coming, you can still be wrong. And you know he's going to reverse field too at some point. If you could make a prop bet on that, it'd be a guarantee. I'm not much of a stat hunter. I'm not going to turn into one of those old heads complaining about players being reduced to ones and zeros, don't worry. I acknowledge that there are players out there with better stats, more championships. I mean, hey, circumstance plays a factor in this game, we all know that. But if we're just talking about peak, if we're talking about talent, if we're talking about the best athlete I've maybe ever seen on a football field, I'll say this. If I had to bet on one safety making a play to save my life, I'm picking Quiet Storm. No contest. So we're going to play a bit of a word association game. If I were to say the greatest defense of all time, I'm sure there's a ton of teams that come to mind. The 85 Bears, the Legion of Boom, the Von Miller Broncos, all totally legitimate answers in their own right. A defense that might not immediately come to mind, but deserves to be up there among the best, the 2010 Pittsburgh Steelers. The defense single-handedly responsible for what we now know as the player safety movement.
I just thought the 10 group beat you up. The powers that be watched them play and they said this is not good for football.
Ah yes, a time when unnecessary roughness wasn't a penalty specifically designed to get Tom Brady a free 15 yards. Good times. I don't want to come across as old man yells at clouds, so I'll say this. It's probably for the best this kind of shit is not allowed in football anymore.
Out the park. Hoke is out. Gay is in. 3rd and 12. Nickel secondary. Down he goes. He was it high by Smith.
It was like a weekly car crash. Massive hits, Mel Blount tributes, and pretty much zero quarterback protection. I respect how difficult the quarterback position is, but when I hear guys today complaining about getting hit, I kinda can't help but snicker a bit. It's like, dude, if you were playing in this era, you would have retired at halftime. First in points, second in yards, third in turnovers, an entire movement designed to reduce damage still potent in the NFL 15 years later. That's hard to top. In terms of impact, this might be the most impactful defense of the last 25 years. Playing against the 2010 Steeler defense is like getting mugged, repeatedly, by multiple people every Sunday until the last bit of will to live is beaten out of you. Watch out! This was a defense with a nice blend of old guard and young pup. Ziggy, Casey, Brett manning the line. Lamar, James, Potsy, and Lawrence as your linebackers. And the secondary, arguably the real star of the show, B-Mac and Ike at the corners, with Palamalu and Kamikaze Clark as your safeties.
Viewers in the National Football League, no one stops the run better than the Pittsburgh Steelers and Dick LeBeau.
This D was loaded with talent, and they knew it too, in a way that had everybody playing with the swagger and confidence of a 10-year group. I mean, seriously, these guys suplexed Vince Young into the afterlife. Plenty of defenses are tough. It's kind of the point. A lot of defenses are mean. The 2010 Steeler D was nasty. Even Troy Polamalu, the nicest human being on earth, was playing with a mean streak that year. Seeing a guy with a voice like Michael Jackson screaming at opposing players must have been a trip, too.
Troy had a spiritual presence about him. You always wonder, how somebody this calm off the field can be this violent on the field.
In order to be in the backfield, basically half of the plays, and make the plays, and be able to time up the snap count, and be able to jump the snap count, I mean, you got to know the game to another level, and also to be able to have that coverage that he has, the range in zone was just phenomenal.
Lost to history sounds a bit dramatic. Hell, I'm talking about the team right now. How lost to history could they be? But let's think about what was on the table for this group. I mean, had they beat the Packers? Had Ben put together that game-winning drive at the end of Super Bowl 45? Had that 7th ring made its way to the Berg instead of to RFK Jr.'s running mate? You could have a legitimate claim at calling this the greatest defense in NFL history, at least of the modern era. Very few defenses instilled as much fear, respect, and CTE as the 2010 Steelers. Everyone remembers the 05 and 08 teams for obvious reasons. A lot of us remember the 76 team missing their chance to three-peat, but this team, for me, goes down as one of the biggest what-ifs, historically, in Pittsburgh history.